Good evening, everybody. How are you doing? I can see Peter Krellin has joined us on Facebook as well. All right, Peter. He's getting into Facebook. We forced Peter into Facebook at one of the Acts on This TV meetups in Manchester, and now he's using it. So, Peter, good on you, man. Embrace the technology. It all looks good to me, and Twitter's even displaying the feed really nicely tonight as well, which is good because Twitter's been playing up the last few times. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to everyone who's listening on the audio experience as well. If you're watching this replay on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. If you're watching it on actonthis.tv, thank you so much for watching. You will find another 208 of these on actonthis.tv and on the Acts on This TV YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com/actonthistv or the main site actonthis.tv, and you'll be able to catch up on all of these. Or join us live every Monday, every Wednesday night, 9 PM. All you need to do is go to twitter.com/actonthistv. That's where a lot of people are tuning in live tonight. Or go to facebook.com/actonthistv. And I'll be live every Monday night, every Wednesday night, unless something mental happens, like when my mum decided to basically just fall over in the garden, nearly break her ankle 2 weeks ago, and had to postpone. It's a little bit mental. As long as there's no tragedies, I will be live every Monday and Wednesday night. Please come and join us. So we were just having a little chat in the lobby then, as we were waiting for people to join. Let me know if anyone's got any exciting news to report. What have you been doing? How can I help you? We're going to be looking tonight at something quite interesting, actually. Basically, these are 8 things tonight that really successful people that I know around me have given up on. So it's a little bit of a different take because people are like, oh, you never give up. No, there are certain things I want everybody here to give up on, and that's what we're going to be looking at tonight. But before that, if anyone's got any exciting news to report, let me know. I'm looking, I'm waiting for comments now. Otherwise, we'll just dive straight in. And if anyone on the audio experience or the replay's got any exciting comments and you want to share them, get them in the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/actonthistv. Got nearly 7,000 people in that group now. I can't believe how quickly we've gone from 6,000 to 6,500 plus now. That last 500 people who've come into the group are coming really quickly. So the Facebook group is growing at like a massive rate now, which is great. Invite your friends. Did a short film, Fraser? Did a short film. Make sure you post that in the group if you've got footage of it. And Dawn's got a meeting with an agent on Thursday. Good on you, Dawn. You absolutely you represented Dawn because you should be. You so should be. Dawn is a really, really good actress who's created some awesome showreel scenes with Chris Stone. Good luck with that, Dawn. Let us know how that goes. Because you absolutely deserve to be with a good agent. You will be working. I know you will very, very soon. Definitely, and everyone wants to see the film, Fraser. So make sure you do post that. So let me put some slides up. Those on the audio experience, you won't be able to see these, but don't worry about it because I'm going to read them all to you. And if you're watching this on the replay on actonthis.tv, look beneath this video and you'll actually see a link to this entire PDF document that I'm going to display tonight, and you'll be able to download the slides. So take notes anyway. I always think people should take notes on trainings like this, just because, and you can pass on this information to other people as well. But don't panic too much if you can't, if you're on a training, you're watching this or whatever, because you can just download the PDF document directly from actonthis.tv. So let's put this up now. Everybody seeing that? It says 8 things my successful actor friends have all given up on. I've given up on these things as well. I want you to all give up on these. They're not hardcore things like drink, alcohol, drugs, all that kind of stuff. They're other things that seem far more innocent, but actually, will just crush your success. Will crush your acting career. Just just crush your life. Honestly, all of this stuff's so universal. It really doesn't apply just solely to my actor friends. I guess this is any successful friends that I've got. I've all given up on these things, okay? I'm just going to put up a slide to share this. I need to update this slide, really, because this is just showing for Periscope now. And I think it's changed a little bit, but please, would massively appreciate, don't play hard to get with me. Start retweeting this for me. Share it out on Facebook if you're watching on Facebook. Let's get lots of people to this, because it's going to help people. Definitely. Who can I see here? Can I see Richard from Miami here on Facebook? I only bloody well can. And I can see Alison Saxton as well. Just got back from filming a showreel scene with Kathy Formby, with Chris Stone. Lots of fun. Amazing. Well, make sure you... Chris is super fast on the editing, Alison. He'll have that with you, next couple of days. Make sure you post that in the group. Bobby, thanks for retweeting. Thank you, Carly. Thank you, Fraser. Appreciate you. Anyone else I just missed then, by the way, and you have retweeted this, huge thanks to you as well. Nathan's here. Nathan, thank you for sharing on Twitter as well. And Rich is Here from Miami, Rich is coming over to the UK in, is it September or October, Rich? Let us know, because I want to meet you for a brew, mate. You're coming to Manchester, so that would be cool. And Bobby says there's only one Ross Grant. Well, technically, Bobby, I don't know, maybe there are a few, mate, I don't know. So thank you for sharing that. So, tonight, right, let's think about, I've been thinking about this all day, actually, whilst obviously wrote this presentation, but let's think about life's winners and life's losers for a moment, all right? And that might sound harsh. People are like, oh, losers. But ultimately, there are people who are almost self-made losers in life because they might have had like a blow dealt to them in life. And that's hard, that is, when you get, life punches you in the face. It's shit. It does happen. But then they basically they end up in this perpetual cycle of just basically always losing in every situation they are in. And very often it's almost like their own fault because they've developed this loser mindset. And yet on the other hand, there are people who you would be like, oh, those people are always so lucky. They just seem to land on their feet every time they're getting more and more success. Every time they go into something, they can land in shit and come up smelling of roses. And actually it's very often not anything to do with luck or anything like that. It's just because they have a winner's mindset. Okay. And if you sit down and think for a moment about what your successful friends do in life, and this applies to mine and everybody's, compared to your loser friends that complain. Chris Stone's even in the house. We were just talking about you, Chris. He's on Facebook, and Nina's here as well. Hello, Nina. Just think about what they do differently. And if you don't have any successful friends, you need these tips I'm about to share with you like more than anybody, all right? Because what I said before about networking and us having that massive meetup on Saturday in Manchester, and soon we'll hopefully have those in London as well, it makes a massive difference. Your relationships and being around successful people who are going to inspire you to push on and actually get shit done. It really can mean the difference between having success and just literally just living with failure and being stuck in that perpetual cycle of failure for the rest of your life. So that's what we're going to be looking at tonight. We're going to be thinking about the differences and the things that people do who are winning and the things that people do who are losing, okay? Here are 8 things that all of my successful friends in and out of the acting industry have given up on in order to have success. So we're looking at things a little bit differently tonight. We're not saying do these things to have success. We're saying don't do these things to have success, okay? You've got to give up on these 8 things that I'm about to talk about in order to have the success that you want, okay? Let's have a look at number 1 right now, okay? Number 1, all of my successful acting friends and non-acting friends, just successful people in my life, have given up on believing that they can't change the world. Now, this sounds like a big one and quite a cliched one, but there's got to come a point in your life and in your acting career and just whatever it is, your relationships, your physicality, anything at all, where you actually give up on believing that you can't change it. Because a lot of people have that belief, I cannot change the situation I am in. I cannot get any work. I cannot get healthy. I cannot find a girlfriend or boyfriend I want to be with. I cannot have blah, 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 whatever it is. And you've got to give up on believing that you can't have that thing and you can't change the world, or at least your world that you live in. So my successful friends all believe that it's not where you're born. It's not how much money or education you have. It's not, it's not about where you start out or what you start out with. They all believe, and I've sat down and had like countless conversations with successful people on this. They all believe that success, that we all have like the power to do something incredible. All of us, every single person. They believe that success is about believing you can change the world, right? We don't need anybody to tell us we are worthy or deserve to be phenomenal. But I know there's people on here who have probably never been told that, and therefore they believe that they aren't that, because they believe that actually they can't tell it themselves. They've got to have somebody else tell them that. And sometimes you just don't have those supportive people around you or those inspiring people around you, so you've never heard those words going, look, you deserve to be phenomenal. And everyone on here does. And thus they end up with this belief system when they're like, I can't really do anything about my situation. I'm stuck in a rut and I can't change it. My successful friends let the belief in themselves guide their vision for a better world. Literally, like, making an impact in whatever way they can. And it doesn't mean, it'd be delusional to think, we can actually impact the world in terms of 7.5 billion people on it. We can't do that. That's just mental. But what you can do is impact the people who are directly about you. Corey, good evening. So my successful friends believe that they can be part of the positive change that helps humanity like rise to a higher level. So they can't do it all on their own, but they can be part of that change. And whether that is writing a short film like a friend of mine's done, you know, that highlights a situation that's having success right now, you know, or it's writing a novel or writing a book, you know, or writing even just a blog post that can be part of that higher change, you know, to help just humanity kind of just be a little bit better than it was yesterday. They've ultimately quit. They've given up on that bullshit victim mentality so many unsuccessful people cling on to for dear life. And they cling on to it because it actually makes them feel better about not having success. Because they're like, look, I've got all these excuses why I can't have success. So I was never going to have it. That's just the way it is. And it is bullshit. So who agrees with that, first of all? One, successful people, ultimately, actors, singers, dancers, boxers, plumbers, bakers, whoever you are, successful ones in any life have given up on believing they can't change the world. Give me some hearts. Just give me, you know what? Give me some hearts if you believe that you can change the world that you live in. I'm not talking about you're going to stop, you know, Donald Trump going mental at other places in the world and war and all that shit. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about changing your world. Fanny says absolutely, totally. And lots of colourful hearts are coming through now, so I'm guessing there's lots of people who agree with that. Because it is true. And you can change your career as well. Like, you know, we spoke about this at length on Saturday. We ended up doing a meet-up from 11 o'clock till actually about 4 o'clock. It's been about 5 hours there. And we were all looking at how each person, we went round the table one by one and was like, actually, how can you each person change their own world? You know, we set a task for that month and we're going to revisit that in October. We've got like an accountability thing going on at the meetups so that everyone who comes basically tells us where they are in their career, what their goal is for the month. So what people shared what their goals were in their acting career for September. We all jumped in to give them advice on how they could change their world. And then we're going to see if they've done it in 4 weeks' time when we come back together in October. And so Wendy said, I sent my email today. So this was a big one for a lot of people, literally just actually reaching out to the people who could help them get further in their acting careers faster, because still there's this massive bullshit fear of actually emailing somebody to ask for what they want. I've done it 3 times, like as in like specifically gone, I want this, 3 times in the last month, and every single time I've been given what I've been asked for. I actually just sent an email to somebody tonight because I know they're casting a comedy down south that I would love to be in. And I don't know what will come of that, but I've very specifically in that email asked for what I want. Like really, really specifically. Because I believe, you know, that that I deserve it. You know, you know what? Just believe that, you know, you work hard enough, you put the hustle in, then you deserve to, you know, to have things and have success. So I've asked for it, and if it doesn't come, it doesn't come. Jamie says it's all about the positive mental attitude. Really is, honestly. I know we bang on about this in every single broadcast. It's practically on the same principles. But the reason for that is so many people know the theory of this. You all know the theory of this. And yet I bet, I don't know, there's probably not even 50% of people watching, listening to this who take action on that theory because they believe it will work for other people, but they won't believe because they feel they can't give themselves permission to believe it will work for them because they're in such a unique situation that nobody else could possibly understand. It's bullshit. Just fear. So that's number 1. They've given up on believing they can't change the world. It's the first thing I want you to give up on. What was that, Wendy? You said you told Peter Hunt something. Peter Hunt's the head of casting at Hollyoaks, and Wendy was going to email him. What did you say, Wendy? I missed your comment there. Write it again for me on Periscope so I can see it. I want to know what you said and if you asked for something specific. Basically, because because you just signed with. Was it you who signed with Annie Wallace's agent, who is Sally St. Clair in Hollyoaks, which is great. It's a perfect reason to write to Peter. Yep, says Wendy. Awesome. So that's number 1. Number 2, they've just fucking given up on luck, guys. Sick of hearing this. And you know what? Sometimes I hear, like, I think there is a sprinkling of luck occasionally required, or a sprinkling of luck can actually add to and compound the success you were already going to have based on the hustle you were putting in. So I think when luck really works, is when that success was already like within arm's reach. You were already going to have it because of the work you're putting in. And then the luck is like the icing on the cake. Where you're like, shit, it's just come at the right time, because this is like, it's just this, whether it's like, something's been freed up in your life and it's the right time and you've just got over something, or, it's like, oh wow, I've just got that voiceover for this massive job. And it's so lucky it's come this week, because last week I had a horrendous cold. That kind of luck is great, but I don't think that's the kind of luck you manufacture. 98% dedication, 2% talent, says Fraser. I think you got more than 2% talent though, buddy. Definitely. So luck is a myth. It just is. I just believe it's a myth. My successful friends stopped believing in it a long time ago and have replaced luck with hustle. Okay, they get out there and make stuff happen. They stop waiting for the right time, because it's never the right time to do anything, which by default means it's always the right time. Everyone in here has got something in their head right now where they're like, I want to do that one day, or it's not the right time to do that, or I'd do that at some point. I'm telling you now, just do it. Whatever it is you're thinking about, just do it, because there's never going to be a right time to do it. Thus, by default, it means it's always going to be the right time to do it, all right? Seriously, you are in charge of your success, and you've got to stop hoping for something to happen. A lot of actors literally just get their agent. So, Wendy, now you've got this agent, don't just sit there hoping for them to do all the work for you now. You're not doing that, because you've already just told me you've sent an email out today, which is great. But a lot of actors, they work hard, get an agent, and then just stop working hard. If they carried on with that ethic that they used to get the agent whilst they had an agent, it would be a very different story for them, I think. So you've got to stop hoping for something to happen, and you've got to take action to ensure that it does happen. Okay? So give me some hearts if you agree with point number 2. They've give up on luck. I want you all to give up on luck. And if it happens and you get a bit of luck, what a bonus. But you're going to have that success anyway, because you'd substituted luck with hustle a long time beforehand. So the hearts are coming through on Periscope. How are we doing on Facebook, people? Give me some comments on Facebook. Let me refresh the page on Facebook and see what we've got coming through on there. Wendy wrote to Jenny Radcliffe and Face Styrene too. She's smashing out the soaps. The best advice a casting director gave me is that the agent only does half of the work. Well, the agent, Bobby, in my opinion, mate, does 20% of the work, because that's what I'm paying my agent, the lovely agent Jane. Love her to bits, but I'm only paying her 20% of the work that I do. Thus, in my head, I'm like, Jane, don't worry about it. You just do 20% of the work. It's down to me to do the rest. And she does 20% of the work, which is, she does more than that, and she hustles hard for me. But yeah, I believe it's absolutely down to me, not down to her. Ultimately, Jane's the ball breaker when it comes to money and contracts. I love the fact that, I'll get jobs myself. Occasionally, I'm like, Jane, got this coming in. Can you deal with the money? Because I hate asking for, I just don't like dealing with money, really. I hate kind of negotiating cash. I'm too giving, you see. So I'm like, Jane, will you hustle for me on the money side of things and sort the contracts out? And she's like, yeah, sweet. So she does very, very well. But yeah, give up on luck, guys. Point number 3. This is a big one. Successful friends of mine have all given up on numbing pain. Just let that sink in. On numbing pain. So lots of people who are going to be listening to this right now, it's only a Monday when I'm recording this, who went out this weekend on Friday and Saturday and got absolutely pissed out of their face because they're running away from their life. I did it for years when I was working in that shop 11, 12 years ago. And I hated where I was in my life and kind of wasn't having any success. I'd kind of left drama school. I was still working for minimum wage in a shop, seeing all my friends working what was perceived as real jobs. And I would go out, I would live for the weekend. I totally live for the weekend. I'd go out Friday night and I'd get smashed. Saturday night, I'd wake up Saturday morning feeling like shit. And I'd be like, I'm never drinking again. And I'd have to go to that shop. And then by 4 o'clock, and I had such enough of all those customers I had to deal with who were treating me like shit. 4:30 would come around. I'd have a cheese sandwich from Boots and I'd start feeling a bit better. And I'd be like, right, we're getting on it again tonight, boys. And I start sending texts out to my mates going, right, let's go. Let's go, we'll go to town, we'll go to the casino. And again, I'd get in Sunday morning, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, I'd spend the whole day in bed. What a loser. Because I was numbing the pain. I was not happy with where I was. So my successful friends are not trying to escape life by numbing the pain, right? They're trying to discover the pain and then push through it like a bulldozer. When you actually understand where the pain in your life is coming from, and then you harness that as inspiration to push through it, then it can charge you as opposed to completely destroy you. When you look for the gifts within that pain, you're like, you know what, if I hadn't been through that, I would not be like half the person I am today. I wouldn't know what I want from life if I hadn't have seen what I don't want from life. You know, and rather than sit in the pub and drink beer or indulge in carbs and salt and mingle with the other losers, my successful friends are out there having meetings and making the stars align towards their vision. Sounds pretty deep, doesn't it? But that's what they're doing. They're like, you know what, Saturday night, screw going and getting absolutely wasted. Let's see if there's any other winners in my circle who want to go out and, you know, and talk ultimately kind of, you know, success and share ideas. Share what they're doing, see if I can get inspiration from them, see if they can get inspiration from me. Many a time I've gone and sat in Starbucks with my mates on a Saturday night. Sounds mental, doesn't it? But I'll sit in Starbucks having a pumpkin spice latte. Sometimes, you know, on a weekend, because I don't go to the gym on a Saturday morning, if it's a Friday night, I can sit in the 24-hour Starbucks that's near my house till like 2:30 in the morning. It's crazy what you see in a Starbucks at 2:30 in the morning. People coming in completely wasted, policemen coming in on their shifts, ambulance people coming in on their shifts, loads of people like sometimes with their laptops just doing work in the middle of the night. It's just incredible. Like, the world seriously never sleeps. There's always people up doing something. And that's the thing, you know, whilst you're sleeping, other people are hustling. And that doesn't mean don't sleep, because sleep is massively important. But don't oversleep. 7 hours, 8 hours tops. You don't need to stay in bed from like, you know, 11 o'clock at night until 12 the next day because you're feeling shit about your life. The reason your life is shit and you're feeling shit about it is because you're probably spending too much time in bed. So yeah, they've given up on numbing the pain. So I want everybody here to give up on numbing the pain. Stop running away from that shit. Face it. Use it as, you know, and push through it like that bulldozer. Fanny gets 4 hours sleep. Fanny, that's not enough. 4 hours sleep is like, it's not a lot. That's not a lot to perform at your best. 4 hours sleep. You need to try and get a bit more if you can. But that's point number 3. Okay. Point number 4. They've given up. This is a massive one as well. A lot of people here are good at this though. They've given up on only consuming content. They're not just sitting at home and watching Netflix and watching Amazon Prime and consuming. As actors, you know what's useful? Watch the first episode of every drama that comes out so you know what's going on, who the big players are. You know, if there's acting technique there, you like, I really like the way they played that part, steal it. Because I promise you, whoever's impressed you has stolen what they have done from somebody else. There's only so many ways you can play a scene, play an emotion. And I promise you, if you look at someone and go, wow, that's amazing, they've probably looked at someone else before they did that and went, wow, that's amazing, and took that. Take what you want, because it's probably been taken before you. Everything is a remix. But yeah, so you've got to consume content, but rather than consume like just YouTube videos all day long, you know, my successful friends have given up consuming for creating. And a lot of people on here are very good at creating, okay? They spend as much time as possible doing instead of sitting there watching others have the success they've always dreamt of. Who's scrolled down Twitter or scrolled down Facebook or Instagram on a day you're not feeling particularly good, and that day you're not feeling particularly good has just instantly become worse because you've seen somebody else getting something that you really wanted, and it just puts you into even more of a funk. You're like, shit, like I was already feeling bad. Now I've just seen this person get what I want and I feel even worse about it. You know, I've definitely been there times in my life, you know, where I've just not been, before I understood all this stuff, basically. So as a rule of thumb, I think you should be spending at least 60 to 70% of your time creating, and that leaves you just 30%-ish for consuming. 30% is still a lot, you know, of a day. But if you can spend 60 to 7% creating, putting your stuff out there, and then just that 30% consuming, because you're going to get inspiration from what you're consuming as well, which is good. Watch something and take inspiration from it, as opposed to, you know, being jealous about it. Ultimately, use envy as a positive tool. Use envy as a barometer, as a compass to go, if I'm feeling envious about that, then that means it's something that I really want. Thus, that's going to aim me down the path to get that thing, because it obviously means a lot to me. Envy can be a really positive emotion if it's used correctly. So when do you sleep at that 100%? So this is in terms of the 60 to 70% of your time where you're awake, Wendy. Okay. So if you are awake for, I don't know, say, I mean, how many? Well, when do you get up? Let's figure it out. So if I wake up at 6:30, I'm roughly awake for about what, 17 hours. So I would be creating content. Is that right? I'm at 3, so yeah, about 7 hours sleep a night. So about 17 hours. And then I would be working for, I'd basically be consuming for roughly, what, 6? And then consuming for 11. I mean, creating for 11. Consuming for 6, creating for 11. Roughly about that. And that's kind of like, yeah, I think that's kind of how the day goes, pretty much. It's mental when you think of it like that, isn't it? 24 hours in a day, 7 hours sleeping. It leaves you a shit ton of time. 17 hours. I don't know why people complain about not having enough time in the day. You've got absolutely loads. So yeah, that's just my intuition is telling me that that's roughly which is how I kind of spend my life, and I'm seeing more success than I've ever had, really. So I think 60 to 70% of your time creating, 30% consuming. I think it's kind of, a good balance. Don't know. Let me know what you think. Try living in Scotland, says Jamie. Need to be up at 3 a.m. to get to London for a meeting tomorrow. Oh shit, man. That's dedication for you. Richard's here. Good evening, Richard. That's a considerable journey, that Scotland to London, Jamie. But fair play, man. Dedication for you. So it's you deserve success there, man. Good on you. So that's point number 4. Okay. All the successful actors I know have ultimately just given up on only consuming content. So it doesn't mean they've given up on consuming content full stop, but only consuming content. A lot of people just sit there watching other people have success that they want, and ultimately they don't do the things that they need to do to have it themselves. If you're seeing other people do their own films, their own web series, their own whatever, and you're just watching them have success, don't just like beat yourself up about that and go, oh, well, I couldn't do it. Find a way. If you want to be seen as the all-action hero, or you want to be seen as the lead of whatever, and you don't think the industry's giving you that opportunity to be that, just create something yourself where you are that, to show people that that's indeed what you can be, without a doubt. So start creating, not only consuming. Point number 5. Dead simple one, this one, but all my successful mates, and me included, because I used to be a little bit selfish with the way I looked at the world before I started having success. I was quite transactional, if I'm honest, in my early 20s. It was kind of like, I'll do that for you, but what am I getting out of it? Today, I'm very, very the opposite. I couldn't be more the opposite, to be honest, where I will do things if I can with absolutely zero expectation of getting anything back in return. I think sometimes you've got to be selfish on some levels in terms of you've got to be selfish in terms of building yourself up in order to be selfless, to give yourself to other people sometimes. So there's definitely got to be times in the day where you're like, right, this is my few hours now where I need to build myself up. Otherwise, I've got to be selfish right now. Otherwise, I've got nothing to give. But on a whole, my successful friends put their vision, family, and goals before everything else. Okay, they are insanely focused on giving and serving other people. So put simply, life is not just about them. And there's a lot of actors who do believe life is just about them. It's like, everything has to revolve around them. And it's bullshit. They're the people who I genuinely see, who are generally they're the most victim-like people. It's always, this has happened to me. Oh, this always happens to me. It's like, well, there's a common denominator in every bad situation you find yourself in your life, and it's you. You're having all these, every relationship I get in, it always ends badly. Every this I get is always in badly. I can never save money. All these kind of things. It's like, well, actually, like, you're the one thing that's actually the common denominator in every situation. So maybe it's actually time to point the finger at yourself a little bit. It isn't, necessarily, other people. Maybe you're being selfish in a bad way, not in a good way. So since starting this group, I actually massively am turned off by negative people. Said, find it. No, honestly, I am. I hope everybody kind of like, experiencing that, I have a zero tolerance for negativity. Sometimes in the Facebook group, someone will post something that's remotely negative, and I'll have to stop myself from just instantly deleting it and banning them, because I'm always like, I don't want people to focus on shit. If there's someone out in the industry trying to take advantage of other people or putting out casting calls that aren't necessarily, of the best pay, or might seem as, taking advantage of all that kind of stuff, I'm like, I don't want a thread with 300 comments on it in the Facebook group of everybody joining in going, that shit, scam alert, rip off, be careful. I'm like, what you're doing, all you're doing there is breeding fear amongst everybody who reads those comments. I just want to kind of like delete it and instantly ban the people who are buying into it, to be honest. The other thing that really pisses me off in the Facebook group is when people join it and the first post that they ever post is, hi, I'm doing an acting class, it's 65 quid, give me some money. Oh, they get deleted and banned without even a warning. I hate that. You're coming into a group of people that, this group that's basically been nurtured and we've created over the past 2 years, and all you're doing is the first thing you're saying, rather than, hi guys, it's Dave here, I'm an actor from such and such a thing, great to be part of the group, let me know if I can help you with anything. It's like, hi, I'm doing an acting class, here, it's £65, or here, buy my headshots. Fuck off. Do one, dickhead. That's being selfish. That is being selfish in a massive way. They're just focused on themselves as opposed to serving other people. If they were serving other people, they would add value to the group first before asking for anything back. That's what does my head in. John Moody's in the house. Hi, everyone. I have a very mixed reaction. I can understand it, but not allow it affect me. What are we talking about, John? Which point, mate? I don't know which point you were referring to there. See, Brian Hart is in the house as well. He says, I hear you, Jamie. I live in Ireland and most of my auditions are in London. Man, you two. London from Ireland and Scotland is a bit of a trek. But good on you. Like, seriously, good on you. Adding value, yes, that's what it's all about, says Fanny. No, it is. It really is about value first. If you look at your life and your career as value-driven in terms of you are offering value to people who can give you employment, to casting directors, to agents. I always end my emails to casting directors going, listen, if there's anything I can actually do for you as well, just shout up, because I'm a total web geek. I know technology and online stuff inside out. If there's anything I can help you with, just shout up, because I'm more than happy to to help. Because that's what it's about. If you've got something, if you want to get in touch with with an independent film director and you're like, I'd love to work with you, understand you're not just going to give me a part in one of your films straight away. But you know what? I've got a set of lights. Why don't I come down a set and we can just use my lights? Or I've got, a spare stills camera, and do you want me to take some photos from behind the scenes to publish to your Facebook? Start giving value first. And I'm like, yeah, of course you can come down a set. Take some behind the scenes pictures, brew up, make some tea, give out Jaffa cakes or whatever, see how we work. And you know what? In the next film, if I like you, I'll probably put you in it. That's how you do it. So yeah, gotta be... Well, you've got to be selfless ultimately, but you've got to be selfish at the right time. But you've got to give up on that real negative selfishness that a lot of actors and just people get themselves into, where it's all about them, and that's just bullshit. Point number 6, they've given up on wasting money. Who here thinks that, seriously, they're wasting money on shit these days? And they're like, actually, you know what? I'm saying I've got no money for acting classes or show reels or membership sites. The amount of people who tell me they haven't got £10 a month for Acts on This, £2.50 a week. All those premium members on Acts on This who basically got effectively like a completely open Q&A one-to-one with Daniel Edwards on Thursday night, one of the biggest casting directors in the country. They could ask anything they wanted. And like, so many people are like, oh yeah, I just don't have it. I'm like, what are you doing? You don't have £2.50 a week. You are spending, I bet, £2.50 a week on one latte a week, a magazine subscription a week. I don't know, something in your life, a bottle of wine a week. That's all it is. It's literally all it is. But you'll have the wine because you're numbing the pain we talked about before. You won't put it into your education. That's going to help you way more than that numbing the pain on a Friday and Saturday night with a bottle of wine, because you've fucking bought a bottle of wine. Oh, it's only $2.99. Yeah, you buy one a week. There you go. There's your subscription to Acts on This. There's an acting class or membership to the Actors Guild or something like that. People waste money. Money is one of the key differences. Successful people pay themselves first and invest in a large amount of their income. So whatever they get, they invest it, as opposed to spending it on consumables like wine. People smoke. You know, people go out and they're like, oh, but I deserve to go and buy this cake. It makes me feel better, you know, or whatever it is. Successful people don't do that because they're consumables, and once they're gone, they're gone. They invest it. They also never forget to make giving money a habit as well, even when they don't have much money to give. They invest heavily in their personal development and education too. The one thing that I think has taken me further in my life more than anything is investing in education and buying programs and getting involved in mentorship schemes. It really has had the biggest impacts on my life, and sometimes I've spent like £3,000 and £4,000 on a course, ultimately, particularly in business. But then that course has then taught me skills. I've had to really invest time into that to learn it all, but then I've gone on to literally get a 10 times return on that investment in 12 months' time. And if I'd have sat there kidding myself that, you know, oh, I'll never have £4,000 to spend on a program. And I know that's a lot of money, and that's like, you know, there's certainly, like, it took me a while to get to that point. I started off buying, you know, $50 programs, etc. But if I'd have kidding myself that I'd never have that $50 initially to spend on a program, I promise you I never would have had it, because I never would have learnt the skills that I needed to earn that $50 back plus a shitload more. So that's like a limiting belief within itself. It's the same belief as I'll go to the gym when I have more energy, not knowing that if you just went to the gym, you'd have a shitload more energy, but you've got to do it first. I can't afford that because I have no money. Yeah, of course you don't. But if you actually just did it, you know, found the money, worked harder, did something to get it, you would eventually have more money because you would learn how to make more. That's the problem. So investment is absolutely massive. It's huge. It's been a huge part of my life, investing back in myself. I very much do that on everything. Any profit I've ever made from acting, from Acts on This, from Bulletproof Actor, the program that I make, it all gets reinvested. Otherwise, it stops the minute I spend that money. Because I'm like, well, that's gone. I can't invest that now. That perpetual loop of investment, return is critical for you to fuel your success cycle and keep making progress. So yeah, successful people I know have just given up on wasting money. So I want everybody to just give up on wasting money. If you've got any direct debits for any bullshit that you're like, actually, you know what? I've had this insurance policy on a phone or something that I don't even have anymore, but it's taking $6.99 a month out of my account, and I just can't be asked cancelling it because I don't know how. Cancel it. You've got a magazine subscription that you get through the post every month. I used to do this when I was younger. I'd get a subscription to Men's Health, and it would come through the post every month, and it was only about $2.99 a month on subscription. But I didn't know how to cancel the direct debit because I didn't have my subscription number. You had to do it online. You couldn't do it through your bank. I can't remember how I was paying it, but I didn't have the subscription number. And I ultimately just couldn't be bothered. I was like, I just don't know how to do it. And then I was like, after 3 years, I was like, wow. Like, I'm spending, it might only be £3 a month, but that's 36 quid a year. Over 3 years, I spent over £100 that I might as well have just gone and thrown down the grid. And if you gave me £100 cash and said, Ross, throw that down the grid, I couldn't do it. But that's effectively what I'd been doing by having this magazine subscription that I never read. And I threw them away every month in their cellophane. As I was tidying my room, I hadn't even opened them. I just didn't have time to read them, and anything I was reading was online. So if you've got any shit like that, just have a look at your accounts, look at your finances, see where money is going out, and if you've got something that you're really not using, cancel it. Save that money back, you know, and spend it on something that really is going to help you get further in your career or your life faster. It really is important. That applies to App Store things as well. Subscriptions you might have on your phone, you know, for games or just, you know, silly nonsense that you don't need. Cancel it. Stop numbing the pain by distracting yourself from it. Invest it in yourself, and you're going to get a much, much bigger return. So that's point number 6. 2 points to go. Point number 7. They've given up on being stuck in failure. Because people get stuck in this. This was that thing I was saying before. It's almost like they're addicted to the struggle. They never want to get themselves out of it, because it's almost like comforting to know that they're just basically in this shithole, and that's where they're always going to be. Gina's here. Hi, Ross. I listen to your podcast all the time when I walk my dog. This is the first time I'm listening live. Started using Instagram because of one of your podcasts. Gina, amazing. Make sure you're following me on Instagram. I'll follow you back. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. And yeah, there's a lot of people on Facebook Live tonight because I sent that email out who wouldn't normally be here. So I do this every Monday, every Wednesday night. We've got a great group on here. I've got, you know, there's a couple of dozen people watching on Twitter right now. We've got about 15, 16 people watching on Facebook right now. About 500 people watch on the replay, but I want to get more people watching live. So massively appreciate you for joining us live tonight. So thank you very much for that. And if you've been listening to the podcast, big up to you. Thank you for that as well. So yeah, they give up being stuck on failure, basically stuck in failure. Okay, so my successful friends, they don't let failure stop them. Okay, and I've had to do this in my own life. They use it to become more. Okay, failure allows my successful friends to learn things they didn't know. And every failure you have ever had, any audition you've really fucked up, anytime you've forgotten your lines, anytime you haven't prepared properly, any date you've gone on that's gone wrong, any time you've not lifted that weight in the gym, whatever it is, has been an opportunity for you to learn. There are no failures, only outcomes. And as long as you are learning, you are succeeding, guys. All right, so failure is an education. Something to be embraced rather than a negative experience that stops them in their tracks. Because for most people, one failure, who's like failed at something once and gone, I'm never doing that again? Or who's got embarrassed once? Maybe you put your hand up at school and you said the wrong answer and you got laughed at by the whole class and you never put your hand up again. Because you're like, I don't want to be in that situation where I look like an idiot again because you've done it once and it hurt. That has stopped you in your tracks though. You could have learned from that and gone, well, you know what? It was all right. You know, yeah, I got a bit laughed at, but that was it. Didn't die, nothing really bad happened, and I actually learned something because although I got the answer wrong, I found out what the answer was shortly after that. And that's just life, like literally every day. So Fraser's saying, yep. Fanny says, yep, but I only stopped for a little while. Dawn says, yep, many times. One girl in my biology class put her hand up once, and I can't remember what the answer was, but it was supposed to be organism, and she just shouted out orgasm. Never put her hand up again. Never put her hand up. Stefan's here. Says, been a while, but I'm back. Cheers, Stefan. Thanks for watching on Facebook, man. So, yeah, I've seen that with a lot of people. They say something wrong or they have one bad audition experience. They're like, oh, I just can't do it. Just forget it. Natalie's here as well. 7 is such an important point. It's so easy to get consumed and blocked by failure. It is, Nat. Honest to God. Like, I just see it really crippling people. All the time. All the time. One negative, outcome, because it isn't a failure. I don't even like using the word failure. There are only outcomes in life, and you can go and you can have what's deemed a positive outcome or a negative outcome. There are only outcomes, and if you learn from either, which you will, and you focus on the gifts, not what you've been robbed of or that embarrassment or whatever it is, you'll always learn. You'll be way better prepared for next time. You'll be way more prepared for next time. You won't make... The idea is you don't make that same mistake twice. Ultimately, that's it. Everybody's fallible, and I focus so little on my mistakes. I say this to people all the time because I know I've made mistakes today. Like setting up this, I actually set this up and copied some slide templates in that were completely wrong, and I ended up saving it all wrong and basically having to start again on this presentation tonight. I lost about 20 minutes of work. People get really pissed off about that and go, "Oh, forget it, I'm not doing it." But I was like, I'm going to focus so little energy on this mistake because you know what? I know I'm going to make a shitload of mistakes later on as well, probably. I'm going to make mistakes every day I'm alive, and that's a really positive thing because I'm going to be getting an education from each mistake. So I have such little respect for my mistakes in that sense because I know I'm going to make a load more. So what's the point on focusing on all those mistakes that you made earlier today or yesterday or in previous years or previous auditions, previous relationships, previous whatever? There's zero point in focusing any more of your time or your emotion or letting those circumstances live in your head any longer because you're going to make a shitload more mistakes, and you're going to probably make a mistake tomorrow in some sense. Might not be a massive one, but you will. So there's just no point in focusing on it. Best way I cope is to spend an hour to reflect, then forget about it and move forward. Yeah, absolutely, that's fine, Stefan. If it's because there's going to be something to learn there. So I think reflecting on it is valuable. Don't tuck it away and forget about it. Face it, push through that negative outcome like a bulldozer, and you're going to get that education from it. So an hour's fine. Don't ruminate on it for a year and then go, all right, now it's time to get back into auditioning, because I've not had an audition for a year because I had one time where I forgot my lines and that's it now. I'm never doing it again. It's important to give up on being stuck in failure. And then the last point I want to talk about tonight, we'll do a little recap as well for those people who are just joining. But point 8, this is a really big one as well. My friend Lewis Howes, you should all follow him at Lewis Howes on everything. I think is his name. He's bringing out a book. He's just sent me a pre-release copy of the book because we're going to do this on book club, and that's on this on the Wednesday night sessions. We'll do this in the book club later on this month. He's doing a book all about masks, and particularly masks of masculinity. So the masks that us men wear, because as men, we're very much conditioned to wear particular masks that, you know, we can't show emotion. You know, man up, we're told all the time, all this kind of stuff. You know, you've got to be physically strong. You've got to be this. You've got to be that. It's the same for women as well, though. You know, it really is in terms of stereotypes and the way that everybody fits into society and what's expected of us and that kind of stuff. And we wear these masks like everything's all right. I'm going to fake it till I make it. You know, all this kind of stuff. And behind the scenes, people are falling apart. But on social media, they're wearing this mask, so everybody thinks, oh, they're having a great time of it, and thus, no one reaches out to help them. And then they end up living this really lonely, screwed up existence where they pretend to everybody through this mask that everything is fine. They're really happy. I know people, and I see this literally. I will have a conversation with someone on the phone who is literally in crisis, and they'll phone me up for advice or some coaching or something, and sometimes people will ring me in tears, right? Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't leave me voicemails in tears either, because like it just stresses me out. But I'll get that, and then I'll be like, oh my God, right, I had no idea, because I just looked at your social media no less than 5 minutes ago, and you were posting on Instagram, on your Instagram story, smiling, laughing, pretending you're really excited about life because you feel you've got to wear this mask. And it's bollocks, isn't it? It's just absolute nonsense. So unlike many losers that I see, my successful friends have taken the mask away. And I try and be like, I'm so open to you guys. And like, you can ask me anything about anything. I've spoken loads about my life story, lots about anything that I'm going through or things I've been through in the past. Because I think vulnerability is one of the most powerful assets and attributes that we have as a human being. So my successful friends, all successful actors, particularly when it comes to, you know, emotional availability for acting roles, when you can be vulnerable in real life, you're going to find it way easier to be vulnerable in a role. And so my super successful acting friends, they're just happy to be vulnerable, and they share even the most personal of stories. And it doesn't mean they're looking for attention. It's woe me, woe me. They're actually trying to inspire other people by going, you know what? Yeah, I had a situation like that once where I felt like shit, and I did this, and this really helped, and now I'm fine, and this was all good. But being fake is like the ultimate crime to them, and it is to me as well. I hate fakeness. Like, I literally hate. That's another massive turn off for me. I can't stand it. You know, what they do is they let who they are like shine through. You know, it's the only way that they will live their life. They don't ever want to fake it till they make it. It's the worst advice anyone will ever give you. It's very different to having a positive mindset, a positive outlook. You know, using the as-if principle, we term it in positive psychology, which is like a dress rehearsal where everything goes well in your head. That's not faking it till you're making it. Faking it till you're making it is lying and being, you know, unauthentic, pretending you are something that you are not. It's basically being fake it till you make it is all pretend. It really is. Using, you know, actually like, actually envisioning positive outcomes, you know, and using tools like that is very different to faking it till you make it. One is where you are, you know, tuning into the possibility of opportunity and success. The other is just lying, being unauthentic, and pretending everything is fine when it isn't. And it's bollocks, it's bullshit, it will hurt you. Brian says, Ross, I started recently to explain my life to new people, only to find out that they were mocking me behind my back. When I found out, I was completely calm and didn't want any repercussions towards them. Depends what you're sharing, Brian, but if people are going to mock you, mate, then I wouldn't say they're friends, for one. And a lot of people will only do that, Brian, because they feel insecure, mate. They just feel massively, you know, either threatened by the fact that, you know, you were once where they are and now you're not and you're more successful. A lot of people just lack significance in life, and one way they get it back, Brian, is by tearing other people down. So it's not about that. It's about, for everyone, I think everyone on here, if you've tuned in tonight, you know, you're very different anyway. You're probably in like the top 1% of people who actually want to develop and have more success in their life. You know, you're probably much more positive giving people. But a lot of people, yeah, like rather than building the biggest building in town for the sake of building the biggest building, like, which is how you should have success, and cheer other people on who are also building their buildings. What they do, these very negative people and losers with losing DNA, will tear down your building in order to make theirs bigger. They don't build theirs any bigger. They just tear yours down until it's smaller than theirs. That's the big difference. So let them get on with it, mate. My advice, let them get on with it. So let's recap on these 8 things, okay? I want you to give up on all of these things. I put there, ready to start doing what my successful friends do? Yeah? And I'm sure you're already doing a lot of these things anyway. But here they are to recap. My successful friends in and out of acting, and the people who inspire me to be better, and these are all things that, I try and implement in my life on a daily basis, have done and have seen way more success. They give up on the following things, believing they can't change the world. So if they give up on believing they can't change it, ultimately, they start believing they can change it. And I'm not talking about world peace and, affecting every single person on the planet. I'm talking about changing the world that they live in, the world for them, their friends, their partners, their children, the people who they can directly affect. It's a bit delusional to go, I can stop all negativity in the world. You just can't, okay? But what you can do is change your world, and you can change it right now, literally tonight. They also give up on luck. They create their own, ultimately, and luck is just, the icing on the cake if they happen to be in the right place at the right time. I said this before, a lot of people have their positive outcome compounded by luck because they got a job at a particular time where it's convenient to have it, but they were going to get the job anyway. But a particular situation they found themselves in, makes that job even better. But they were going to have it anyway because they'd given up on luck and they were creating their life and their destiny for themselves. They give up on numbing pain. Okay, so if you're currently running away from your life at the weekend, you go in and you're getting pissed, like I did in my early 20s, week in, week out, because I wasn't where I wanted to be. And it was a real instant gratification moment. Every weekend I'd go out and I'd just have fun, drink, flirt with women, dance, go to clubs, all this kind of stuff, gamble, go to the casino, roulette, all this kind of stuff that just gave you instant gratuity. You'd put £1 down or £2 down on the roulette table, your number would come in, it'd be like, yes! And you go, well, actually, Ross, all you've done there is you just won about 70 quid, and you've probably spent about 70 quid tonight, so you basically just came out even. I've not actually won anything, but that exhilaration of that instant gratuity, that win, basically kind of like was an addiction, was enough to fill me up to go, oh, it's okay, I'm not succeeding in the other things I want. At least I'm having a bit of fun, bit of success. It's got no longevity in it whatsoever, though. You've got to keep going back to that casino and gambling every single week. What's way easier is investing in yourself to have long-term success, which is going to keep paying you week in and week out. So you are winning literally week in and week out without actually risking and gambling anything but your time. And that time's going to pass anyway, so, what better way to spend it than invest in yourself? Wendy says, I probably spent 170 quid. Probably did, Wendy, to be honest. Wendy says, I used to be a croupier. No way. Wendy, a croupier once told me the reason the hole in the roulette table is so big that the croupier scoops all the chips down in is because the house will always win. They went, look at the hole in the table. The reason it's so big is because, we win so much of it back. Yeah, you'll never beat the house. So yeah, numbing pain is what successful people give up on. They also give up on only consuming content. So a lot of successful people I know create content way more than they're consuming it. They're making their own short films. They're writing their own scripts. They're creating their own showreel pieces. They're writing their own blog posts, vlogging, whatever it is, to get themselves out there. I had a poker friend like that. Only ever told you what he won, never what he lost. Yeah. All the time. I had a friend like that, my mate, there was a guy I know, won't mention any names, who was always, I'd say, oh, how you doing, mate? He'd go, every single time, I promise you, this is exactly the words come out of his mouth, he'd go, yeah, about even. Bullshit. About even. You look like you're suicidal, mate. That doesn't look like a face that's about even. They also, successful people, give up on selfishness, okay? It's not all about them. They believe, that it's actually about serving other people and making a positive impact. They give up on wasting money on shit. Please stop wasting money. It might only seem like $2.99 here, $3.99 there. If you're saying you don't have money to go to acting classes or memberships to websites or things that are really going to help you with your education and life and success, don't go and buy a Costa coffee every day that's £3. If you're doing that before work every day and you're working a day job, it's 15 quid a week. 60 whole pounds a month. That's 3 2-hour workshops with casting directors or acting coaches. That's 6 months membership to Act on This. It's more than that if you buy a yearly membership. It's only 90 quid. So yeah, don't waste money on crap. They give up on being stuck in failure, and they give up on wearing a mask, which is ultimately pretending everything is fine, and you know, and just faking it, and just pretending and lying and being unauthentic. So that's the recap. I want to finish. I'm going to come on camera in a minute. We'll have a little chat and Q&A anyway. But I want to finish on a quote which I thought was great. Tim Denning said this. He said, "Listen, failure is a cheap lesson in what's not going to make you successful," which I think is great. It's just like if you look at failure or any negative outcome in your life, it's actually a really cheap lesson in what's not going to make you successful. Then I think you're going to be more grateful for those outcomes that aren't necessarily exactly what you want. Jill's here on Facebook. Good evening, Jill. Said just made it. Thanks for checking in on us. But I thought it was a great quote. Failure is a cheap lesson. Give me some hearts on Periscope if you like that. Failure is a cheap lesson in what's not going to make you successful. It reminded me of that quote from Thomas Edison, where that reporter said, "Thomas, mate, come on, you've failed over 1,000 times to create this light bulb. Is it not time to give up?" And he went, like, "My dear, why? Why would I give up? I now know 1,000 ways a light bulb will not work." I think it was roughly 7 attempts later he cracked it. Reminded me of that. I thought it's great. It's just a lesson. So for those who are joining for the first time, I'm going to come on camera in a minute anyway, but if you are here for the first time, there's a lot of people on Facebook Live right now who haven't joined us before. I do these live broadcasts every Monday night at 9 p.m. We do this thing called Motivation and Mind Hacks, which is basically a personal development broadcast, which we've done tonight. It's going to give you tips and hacks and motivate you and inspire you to get shit done, get more done in and out of your acting career, but ultimately help you have more success in all walks of life much faster than you would do otherwise. Wednesday nights we do a book club. We're looking at a great book at the moment called You're a Badass by Jen Sincero, her name is, you pronounce it. I've been calling her Sincero, but it's Sincero. Must have some kind of Hispanic type influence. But we're going to be doing that on Wednesday night for the next 3 weeks. That's the book for September. Then we'll do Lewis Howe's new book after that. And you can tune in really easily. Facebook.com/ActsOnThisTV if you're on Facebook right now. Or Twitter.com/ActsOnThisTV. Or actually, if you get the Periscope app, which is owned by Twitter, it's periscope.tv/ActsOnThisTV. But Twitter and Facebook is where most people tune in live from. So I will jump back on camera here. Here we go. I've been off all evening. But yeah, let us know what you think. Let us know what kind of resonated most for you, out of those points. Or if there's something you would add to that. What have you seen your successful friends giving up on? And that's giving up in a positive way. It's giving up the shit and replacing it with the good. Brian says it's like the guy digging for diamonds. It is, Brian. I wonder if I've got that image. I bet I haven't. Or I wonder if I have. Oh, buddy, I don't. I normally have that image I can share with people. But you've seen that, haven't you? Where the guy, there's 2 guys, one's with a pickaxe and he's digging for diamonds, the other's with a pickaxe and he's digging for diamonds, and one's just given up, and you see that the seam between him and the diamonds was like this big. Literally, if it had one more swipe, it'd have been through. But he just had enough of what he deemed as failure and was like, nah, sack it, I'm out of here. Sometimes you've just got to keep smashing, and you've got to keep smashing in the same place as well, guys. If you imagine you took an axe to a tree and think of this, right? You hit a tree 100 times with an axe, but every time you hit it in a different place. You wouldn't knock it down. If you hit a tree 100 times in the same place, you would topple it over very quickly. Sometimes it just takes, that extra few whacks of that axe in whatever you're doing, in order to have that breakthrough. It doesn't mean sometimes that everything you're doing is wrong and you've got to change the whole thing. It means that sometimes you've just got to have patience. I think, like, if I ever had someone said to me, look, you've got to write a formula for success, because I think it can be broken down quite formulaically. For me, it would be hustle plus patience equals success. I think that's just it. Literally, you work hard and you have patience on a macro scale. In terms of, I know what I want to achieve in my career, my acting career, presenting, web stuff, online business. It's probably going to take me 15, 20 years from now. And at that point, I'm already on year 16 in my acting career. 16 years to this point. That's all the way from before drama school, working as a kind of, not a child actor, but kind of working in my teens on a few little things on TV, all the way through my GCSEs, my A-levels, going to drama school, having a year out before I went to drama school, the years I've spent since leaving drama school in 2005, Even if we just clasp it from now, well, like right where we are now, back to drama school. God, that was 2005. That's like 12 years. 12 years just since turning professional. And I'm, and I ain't getting the lead roles in stuff. I know that's where I'll end up, but it might take, another 4, 5, 10 years. I don't know when it'll be, but I know that when people write about it, they'll be like, oh, it's an overnight success. I'll be like, man, it took me 21 years to have that overnight success. So you've just got to have that patience. And when you've got that patience, guys, you are so dangerous in this industry, because every single day, out of the 24 people on my drama school course, like in my year, I don't know if I honestly don't know 100%, but I honestly think I'm the only one left who is working as an actor, like as their full-time hustle. I think everybody else has fallen by the sidelines. They've gone to work. Some of them have gone to live in other countries. They've gone into like catering. Someone owned a furniture store. There's a couple of guys who've gone into production. Have got their own production companies, but they're not acting now. They're kind of producing, which is fine. I mean, that's great. But I just see every year you hang in there. Every day you hang in there. You know what? You wake up tomorrow, guys, right, and you're still in this industry. I promise you, people gave up today. Every morning you wake up and you're like, right, let's go again. Let's do this. Somebody woke up and said, nah, I'm done. And you just got to focus on that. The longer you stay in, particularly if you're older in this industry as well, because you've got even less competition. If you're hanging in there in your early 20s, you're going to have more competition for quite a while. Hanging in there in your mid-60s, you've got even less competition. And then when you get into like your mid-70s and mid-80s, it's a harsh reality, but you know what? Some people just aren't waking up. They're not actually waking up and saying, I'm not doing this anymore. 143,000 people don't wake up every day. You've got to look after your body and invest in that. Stay in the game as long as you can, and you will work. I promise you, I swear. But yeah, that's what it's about, definitely. Been it 30 years, Ross, tomorrow, says Pete. Wow, man. Well, congrats. I mean, and here's to another 30 years. That's amazing. And that's hustle for you. And hopefully you're patient. Hopefully you're seeing some success and you want more. But you're patient, and that 30 years was going to pass anyway, Pete. So what a great way to have spent it, at least going after what you want, because you can fail at what you don't want, can't you? And a lot of people will have done that already. And, spent 30 years doing shit that they hated every single day and still not having any success in it. So you know what, mate? You might as well have spent 30 years doing what you do want. Jill says, from my year, it's me and Amanda Holden that's left, says Jill. Amazing. Amanda Holden's doing pretty well. She's all right. She's not really acting very much, is she? I think Amanda, she's doing more of the Britain's Got Talent kind of thing. Brian says, just renewed my equity membership, dusted myself off and said to the universe, I'm ready. There you go. Great that you're a member of equity, Brian. I think everyone should support equity. Definitely. It's a fantastic union who do a lot for you. Anytime you work on telly and you have an equity contract, which you'll get regardless of whether you're in equity or not, because they work hard to make sure actors get, fair pay. You should pay your dues a little bit. And it's all done on me. It's all means tested, isn't it? If you're not earning very much, you don't have to pay very much for equity. Very patient, says Peter. Still working, maybe not Leeds, but still having fun. Off to Belgium next week filming. You never know where it's going to take you, Peter, ever. Francesca says, I believe you do have to take action, but only when you're in a happy state. Otherwise, you're swimming upstream. Yes, you can get there, but you're absolutely exhausted. When taking action from the right state, it feels like enthusiastic play. Time feels irrelevant, even if you're working, playing 18 hours a day. Getting and staying in the right state, and it will flow. Absolutely. No, they're the times that test you, Francesca, so much. It's very easy for me to sit here and, go over these points and things when I'm having success. If I wasn't, it'd be a lot harder to sit here and, and believe in all this stuff. But I just know that there were absolutely times in my life where I wasn't having any success, didn't believe in any of this stuff, and stayed in that place for many years, many years. The reason, at that point where I was still in the shit and I wasn't feeling great, it was much harder to go, I'm going to take all of this stuff on board and I'm going to start actually realizing that I can choose how I feel about this situation, that life happens for me and not to me. And this situation that I'm in is happening for me right now. What am I learning on it? I ask myself this question, Francesca, every time I'm faced with adversity, what good is there right now that I cannot currently see? And I search for that, and I'll always find it. And you will too. If you ever are in a situation where you're like, wow, this is pretty horrific. You know, I'm talking like literally, I've had to ask myself that in times of like losing parents, real stressful situations that you don't want to go through again. But you will always find gifts and positivity in those situations, even at the worst time, you know, literally. I remember back to when the morning my dad had a heart attack. It was the day that he died. And I remember us having, like, it sounds mental this, but we're in literally like in a cubicle at A&E. I mean, dad's literally having this kind of heart attack, and he's kind of getting over, well, not getting over it, but he's kind of in between, I don't know if you have multiple ones, but in between like feeling like shit and actually at the point where he can talk. We there was a woman who came in the cubicle next to us, and you just heard the nurse say something to her, like she was in for like a dodgy foot or something. It wasn't serious with her, and you just heard her say something like the nurse say, "So Maureen," or whatever her name is, "how much do you weigh?" And she said something like 22 stone. And my dad just looked at me, and the look on his face just kind of said it all. And it was just one of those funny, kind of crazy moments where we were like, "Oh my God, like how's she even got in here?" And we had a laugh. It wasn't just that. We had quite a bit of fun that morning. It was like the middle of the night, like 4 o'clock in the morning, until he kind of fell asleep again. And there was like positive things. There was times there that I spent with him that I never would have spent. Would never spend that time with him. We never had those laughs, you know, or that crazy, you know, funny moment in the middle of what was a really, really tragic time. And you've got to be grateful for little things like that, where you're like, you know what, there is good in really, really bad situations if I look for it. But it's the hardest thing to do in those situations. It's very easy to be in all this positivity and stuff when life is going well. When it's not, it's really difficult. But it's at that point where it's almost, sometimes you've got to force it a little bit. And you will find that, you know, changing your physical state in a situation like that is the easiest way to get out. So in order to change your mental state, fastest way for me to do it is to change my physical state. So if you feel it, sometimes I'll be like feeling quite tired on a Sunday, and every Sunday I do a half marathon. It's like a religious thing for me. It's like I don't mean literally religious, but it's almost like, you know, it's just a thing that I do every single Sunday. And sometimes I'll be laying on my bed thinking, I just can't be bothered. I don't have the energy to do this. And every time I do it, because I do it every week, I feel amazing after it. It's almost like I get the energy by doing it. So I trick myself into thinking, oh, you know, most people would be like, oh, I don't have the energy to do this today. So they never do it. I know once I've done it, I'm going to feel electric. So in order for me to get the energy to almost do it, I've just got to do it. So a situation where you're feeling like shit and it's like, it's not the right time for me to be positive or go after this right now. Actually, it's always the right time. There's never a right time to do anything. So by default, it's always the right time to do it. It's just harder when life has punched you in the face and things aren't going particularly great. Someone just said there, they went to the pub the night before their dad died. With their dad, so that's something, you know, that's something that's to be cherished, definitely. I mean, I could look at, you know, my dad died when I was 24, and I said this before, but I could look at it and go, you know what, I'm really angry at that. I lost my dad when I was 24. I can go, actually, you know what, on the flip side, I spent 24 amazing years with this guy, you know, that I thought the world of, and that's such a gift, because my dad's dad died when he was 4. One of my best friends' dads died when he was 5. People lost their mums when I was at school when they were 12 and 13. My mum's still about. You know, we've got so many gifts, you know, so it's down to you to choose how you look at it and choose how you respond to that situation. You can't choose the situations you're ever going to be in all the time. You're going to find yourself in situations you're like, I have no idea how I got here, and I don't believe I could have changed something to get in this situation. It's just a freak accident. Those people, bless them, who ended up at the Manchester Arena that night Ariana Grande was on, and, you know, and they got hit by that suicide bomber, and they're rebuilding their lives right now. There's no way they could be like, you know, they can blame themselves for being in that place at that time. That's just shit. Life just punched them in the face massively. But if they survived it, what a gift, because a lot of 22 people didn't. And now they've got to focus on how they respond to that situation. And that's really hard. But if they decide that they're not going to try and get better until, you know, it's the right time, they're never going to get better. You've just got to go, now is the time, you know, we're not going to let this beat us. You know, otherwise that person's won twice, and we can't have that happening. But it's just much more difficult to apply everything I've spoken about tonight at times when life isn't what you want it to be. But that's what I want you to do. I want you to try. It's hard. In fact, you know what? There's no try. There is no try. It's binary, innit? You just do or do not. It's very, very true that. I do that exercise with people where I'm like, you should do this with people. If anybody says I'm trying to get better at this or I'm trying to do this, get a chair and just go, I want you to try and pick that up for me. And what they'll do is they'll go over to it and you go, try and pick it up, and they'll pick it up. And you go, no, you've just picked it up. Just try and pick it up for me. And they'll put it down and look all confused. Like, try and pick it up for me. And then they'll pick it up again. You go, no, you've just picked it up. Just try and pick it up. And they'll be like, I can't. And you go, exactly. You can't try and actually do anything. You're either doing it or you're not. So if you're trying to get better at something, you're not actually trying to get better at it. You're actually getting better at it. Because if you're going to a class or you're putting in time to get better at that thing, you're not trying to get better at it. You're actually getting better at it because you're investing and putting in that time. So you can't ever try. Do that exercise with people. It's funny. Screws them up a little bit. It's a good one. Stefan says, overcast days are my kryptonite. My mood often reflects the weather. It's a real thing, Stefan. It's a real thing, man. Seasonal affective disorder is a real thing. If you need to get one of those sad lamps, that get those daylight lamps have in your room, get it. You know, it's a real thing. It definitely affects our mood, without a doubt. My dad died on a beautiful day. I promise you it would have been different. His funeral was on a gorgeous day as well. If it was raining, it just would have been different. That entire summer. He died on June the 1st. It was gorgeous. 2006, we had a beautiful summer in the UK. Would have been much harder to face if it was raining and shit. Promise you. So it's a real thing, Stefan, man. So get yourself one of those daylight lamps. It says mind blown, but yeah, I don't know if you knew you could get them, but you can. They're wicked. You can get something called a Lumi alarm clock as well. I think it's Lumi, and it wakes you up with the wavelength of the sun. It illuminates the whole lamp like it's an alarm clock, and it actually emits the same wavelength, like the same blue daylight as the sun would. So it wakes you up naturally. There's a girl I know swears by it. I've never tried it, but it looks great. So give that a go even. Francesca says, always a contrast and polarity. That's life. It's how we respond to it. Definitely is. And respond's a great word. It's not about reacting, because reacting is instinctual and you'll want to... Reacting is when you get angry at something. You want to react. Responding is where you take 3 seconds and go, how do I actually want to respond to the situation without reacting in a negative way? But yeah, interesting, isn't it? So if you've enjoyed this, if you've been watching for the first time, on Periscope or Twitter or Facebook, hugely appreciate you. If you're listening on the audio experience, because for those who are new to this, I actually put the audio of this out for free on iTunes and Stitcher as well. If you search for Act on This TV, all one word, in the iTunes store, you can subscribe for free to the podcast, and you'll get the audio of all of these broadcasts delivered to you. There's 100 or so episodes of it on there already, plus some extras. So I'll make phone calls sometimes to acting industry people, directors. I'm talking about big directors as well, people like Lewis Arnold, who directs Broadchurch, Julie Hesmanhouse, she was in Broadchurch. You know, and I record those phone calls and I put them out on the podcast as well, so you can listen to some stuff like that. I also do these things called 5 to Thrive episodes that are like personal development episodes, like 15 minutes long, exclusive to iTunes and exclusive to Stitcher.com as well. That's another place you can get them from. So if you've got an Apple device, go to iTunes. If you've got an Android, go to Stitcher.com. Again, search for Act on This TV, all one word, and you can download the podcast, subscribe to it, and then you'll just get the episodes delivered to you for free. You don't have to do anything. You'll just find that it pops up and goes, Ross has just put another episode out, and you can listen. So if you're listening on the audio experience right now, hugely appreciate you for being here. So I'll be back on Wednesday night, guys. We'll be looking at this book for the third time, You're a Badass, by Jen Sincero. It says how to stop doubting your greatness and start living an awesome life. It's a great book. No nonsense, no bullshit from Jen in this book. She's just straight talking. I like her. So we'll be doing that on Wednesday night, 9 p.m. So please join us for that. Keep an eye on the Facebook page, facebook.com/ActOnThisTV. Like it. And if you like it, you'll get notifications every time I plan a live event. So it'll say Ross is going to go live in like 20 minutes or something like that. You'll get notifications, which is cool. So do that, and then come and join the Facebook group if you're not part of it as well. We've got nearly 7,000 actors in there now, and it's such a super helpful group. Thank you, Dyers. Who's that? What's your first name? There's a few people on here whose avatars I don't recognise. Let me know. So Dawn was here, said thank you, appreciate you, Dawn. But yeah, come join the Facebook group, and that's facebook.com/groups/ActOnThisTV. So the page is just facebook.com/ActOnThisTV. The group is facebook.com/groups/ActOnThisTV. Like the page, join the group, and if we can help you with anything, let us know. Steve, thank you very much for being here. I want to end, guys, with a little snippet of Jordan Hogg's interview. So for those who are new, go over to actonthis.tv and you'll find 400 hours worth of me interviewing some of the biggest casting directors, the biggest producers, writers, just everybody in the UK acting industry, sometimes people from the States as well. And I do like live broadcasts, and I do video interviews that are multi-camera video interviews like you would see on TV. I do podcasts, all that kind of stuff. And I want to play you one of those multi-camera interviews, a little snippet of an interview by a BAFTA-winning director, a guy called Jordan Hogg, who I interviewed a few months back. But I thought this clip was particularly relevant for what we've spoken about tonight. He's got cerebral palsy. It's not stopped him. He's faced a lot of adversity in his life, but he's a great guy. NYC here. Someone's from NYC. Who was that? Who's from NYC? That's incredible. Thank you for being here, NYC. But Jordan is, he's now directing. He's directed all kinds of things. Even directed stuff for Disney, Evermore for Disney. He's currently directing Casualty, I think, here in the UK. But he was on Coronation Street for quite a while. He saw me for an audition for that. That's where I met him. He's basically, I don't know, he's one of these guys I'm like, he's actually like fearless. He just doesn't seem to have any fear, which is mental, because I've never really met anyone who I've been like, are you really fearless? Where I met Jordan was like, actually, you seem pretty fearless. I kind of buy it. So I want to play you a little 60-second clip of this. If you want to watch the whole thing, just go to actonthis.tv. You'll need a premium membership to watch it, but it's only £10 a month or £90 for the year, and so much of that revenue goes to charity, guys. So every guest I have on gets a charity donation to give to a charity of their choice. It's not a big corporate website. It's just me. Nobody else literally runs the website. Everything you see on there is just me. So it doesn't go into some fat cat's pocket. It's £10 a month. You'll be helping me, help you, help other people. We help some great charities out, and a lot of little ones who really need help, not these massive ones. So you can watch the full interview if you get a premium membership, or you can do, if you don't want to do that, you can watch a 15-minute clip of this over on actonthis.tv as well. So I'm going to play you this 1-minute little sketch, bit, clip, whatever. It's not a sketch really, is it? A little trailer of it. And then I'll be back on Wednesday night, same time, same place. Thank you so much for being here. Massively appreciate you. If you've been here on the audio experience all this time, hugely appreciate you as well. Have a fantastic day tomorrow. And just remember those 8 things we've spoken about tonight. I want you to give up on all of them. All right? I'll catch you with you very soon. Thank you so much. Bye for now.
I love being a director, but it's just not something I love and have wanted to do. It's something I need to do. I don't know why. I've got no clue why. I know I have to do it. I've said countless times to people, why don't you do what you want to do? Why? What's stopping you? You've got every option on your doorstep to do what you want to do. I mean, I'm a disabled kid from a Victorian seaside town in North Yorkshire. All my mates work in factories and are drivers and things. And somehow I've managed to do what I want to do. And I love going to work. I do it for free. That's why I've got an agent, to make sure I don't.
Yeah.